Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to your Sales and Leadership Ninja Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and every week I bring you one of my rants to stimulate your thinking in the realm of sales or leadership. And by the way, I always want to thank everybody that reaches out with their comments or their thoughts of what they want to learn more about. And I also love the feedback I get from all my corporate companies that use this rant every week in their sales meetings. They actually show the YouTube video as part of their piece of their meetings. Today's show is going to be a little bit different than most of the shows I do. And even though the podcast goes up and it's timeless, today's show is very time-based. It's about the coronavirus. And today's show I call the coronavirus, a chance to reflect. This has literally been a week, or actually the last month or so, that none of us will ever forget. And quite frankly, going forward for the next month or two, I'm not sure that we're even totally grasping what we're in store for. Because everything is literally shutting down. And this has already been shut down around the world. And we don't even know what the magnitude of this pandemic could be. It's obviously been frightening for a lot of people, but it's really probably will have a bigger economic impact than an actual physical impact on people's health in the long haul. But that's a different discussion. Don't want to go there. Anyway, I'd like to reflect today. I had to disconnect a little bit this week. I watch a lot of news. I watch all the major news networks. I have YouTube TV so I can stream it. I watch them. I watch all the different ones to get different perspectives. So I'm not necessarily a Fox or a CNN or whatever. I watch them all to get different perspectives, and then I form my own opinions. I also do a lot of as most of you know, a lot of fact digging on situations. I can tell you that the economic impact to this is just going to be something that we probably have never seen in our lifetime. The flip side is all the fundamentals to our economy are strong, so I think we'll bounce back and we'll be stronger on the other side. That being said, that's why I really wanted to make today's show a chance to reflect for all of you. And so I'm gonna remind everybody that, and I don't normally pitch, but this is a perfect time to level set your thoughts. And if you haven't read my book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, you might call this self-promotion, but this is kind of right in the sweet spot of what this is all about that you're going through and what you need to do. And if you just watch your children, their innocence, this book helps you understand how to process all this. And it's Self-Talk, Think Like a Child. It's available on all the major book buying networks, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You Google Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, Dean Akers, and it'll show up and you can buy it. And, again, I appreciate it. And I'll also donate any profits that come for it during this whole time back to any relief. I'll give them all back. It's fine with me if it helps any of you out there. So what we can use this time for is to reflect and build out some basics in our life. With all the hustle that's been going, Skype a friend, pick up the phone, call a friend, ask them what's going on, see how they're doing. And I say Skype them, call them on the phone. Read a book you've been promising yourself to read. This is one of those times that you've been promising yourself you're going to read this book, blah, 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 and you've never read it. Read it. You can get them digitally online. You can order them through thrift books. Get a book and read a book. Listen to some educational shows. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. You can watch YouTube videos on something you've been wanting to do. I used it the other day to help I used a YouTube channel to help some of my Excel skills. And I went there and spent 20 minutes on a YouTube, two different YouTube videos that helped me take my Excel skills to a new level of something I wanted to learn. Perfect time. These will help you create calm. podcasts, listen to podcasts. You're listening to this podcast, and thank you so much. Our listeners all over the world, I really appreciate you listening to this podcast and watching this video cast. So now we really want to work on our techniques to come out stronger on the other side. Here's what my ninjas are doing. And they're making a list and checking it off to be stronger and better successful, set for success on the other side. By the way, they're already successful. They already have started eliminating their self-talk. They're already looking at this as a time to make lemonade out of lemons. And quite frankly, it is. There's so many people that are in freeze frame. This is a time to really rock and roll. Really rock and roll. So we're going to go through the basics of the ninja process, and this is times for you to double check, especially if you're a business or in sales. Take your CV list. That's that customer value list that we've talked about so many times. It's essentially a list of all your potential customers. Look at it. See where your rating is on there, and that's that relationship index between 10 means they're customers, 1 means you really don't even know them at all. Look where that relationship index is right now. Ask yourself, is there things you can do to improve those relationships? Obviously, you're not going to get to go cold call them, but you can reach out to them, and we're going to talk about a couple of the other things you can do, like send them a book, touches, handwritten notes. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The first step is take your CRM, your customer relationship management tool. We talk about it. Everybody should have one. And you should have your own one. Your company may have one, but you should have one too as a ninja. I use Pipedrive. I've been using Pipedrive for years. All my ninjas use it. It's very inexpensive. You can put tons of fields in there. I think we have 60, 70 fields in there, all the way from birthdays, anniversaries, kids' names, all these extra fields we add. So we'll have great data. And so it's all in there. So get your CRM. Make sure everything's straight and caught up. Get all those business cards that you've been meaning to put in there that you're behind and you haven't scanned. Go ahead and sit down. Put them in there now. Turn the TV off. Take some time to use this to really sharpen your axe and get your business ready to go. And quite frankly, you should have been doing this all along, but this is a great time to reflect and look and say, I'm getting it together, because you're going to come out stronger and you're going to be better. Deep dive your top companies. Go on Google. Look up those big CVs. Look at the executives. See what their hobbies are. Get their birthdays. Get all that deep diving done now. Instead of sitting around watching the news going, oh my God, what's going to happen? Know what's going to happen with your business by going in and starting to build out your CVs, building out your relationship indexes, updating that CRM. Get that thing done. Do the deep dive research we always talk about. So now you know all the key touches for them. Write handwritten notes. I can't stress that enough. These are some I just wrote. I can't stress it enough. That is still the most powerful thing I've ever done in my career for 40 years. And I still do probably somewhere north of, 100 a week. Somewhere right around 100 a week. You may not do 100, but I can tell you that, no question, is still the single biggest thing and best thing I do. Now more than ever, use it to reach out to your customers. Send it to them, the handwritten notes. And then lastly, or not lastly, is take your top potential customers or a friend. Send them something that'll make them smile. You could obviously send them the book Self-Talk. I wouldn't hurt you for that. And again, any of the money I make on this from the last week or two all the way through whenever the thing's over, I'm going to give away to some charity, Metropolitan Ministries or somebody. But I'm not going to take any of the money from this. But you can reach out and give your top customers. Send them books. Here's just a couple of my favorites. All my ninjas out there know this is my favorite book, Top Performance by Zig Ziglar. This is a book I use with all my companies to train leadership in. We go through a chapter a week. Take this book and look at it. Use it to reflect. It's a powerful book. This book, Nuts, the Southwest Airlines story. There is no downside to reading this and or sending it out to some of your people. I'm just giving you a couple of my book hits. The Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer. One of my all-time favorite sales books. Again, take it, open it up, This one's signed by Mr. Gedimer. Open it up and go through it. This is the book of cold calling. Can you make that up? No. This is just so powerful. Use these times. QBQ, question behind the question. This is such a great leadership book for you trying to get your company really rolling. Take time, read it. Look at how thick it is. You could read this easily. Raving Fans. This is so important, and so important now, because what a chance to really, really do it. You're an executive out there, and you've been frustrated. You're just going 100 miles an hour. This book by Verne Harnish, Scaling Up. This is a great book. This is one of my favorite books of having processes and stuff. You don't have to follow it to the T, but this will give you visionary things to start taking advantage of. It has a lot of great data in here that will help you be more successful. And lastly, one of my favorite books is J. Conrad Livingston's Guerrilla Marketing. That book is awesome. Now, if I was to pan my camera, which I can't do it, over to my bookshelf, there's probably 1,000 books over there. This is just a handful of my favorites that while this pandemic is going on, if you take some time and order them online, you can get them all digitally so you can read them on your computer and stuff. But this is a time to really do it. And by the way, you can order these cool books and send them to your top potential customers. And I use thrift books. I get them all sent to me, and then I write a handwritten note, again, get the touch, and I put an envelope and I mail it out. The post offices are still open. They're taking mail. I just went there today, and they're an essential service, so they're still working and doing their thing. And they've told me there's no chance they're shutting down. I mean, the post office never shuts down. So this is a short setback. It will slow you down, or it'll slow those down that allow it. This is a chance to really reflect. This is a chance to do the things you've been needing to do. This is a chance to really sharpen your axe. This is a chance to really be a ninja. And this will make you more successful than ever as we come out on the backside of this. And oh, by the way, we will come out on the backside of this. So again, the coronavirus, a true chance to reflect for you. I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in each week, and remember to share this if it helps you. And I want you to just take a deep breath and make this a true chance to reflect.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanakers.com. Also, visit us at www.deanakers.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.